All right, everybody, welcome back in. This is From the Pocket coming at you on a Wednesday, another solo dolo. I won't lie, full disclosure, I recorded a podcast on Sunday and just did not upload. Christian wasn't feeling well. I went solo on that one, but just stuff got in the way. But here I am, another solo dolo. Gonna be coming at you about week 12 today. Christian is still sick, but the one opinion he wanted me to relay to the fans was that the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl. They are winners of 2 straight, 3 out of the last 4 now. So, hey, maybe they get hot. Maybe the Dolphins is the surprise team of the year. But anyway, we have a lot of football to talk about today. Wanted to talk about just, not the games from last week, but just some of the takes and kind of topics people are talking about. Christian is not here for the Vibe ranking, so I was going to give a top 10. Obviously, I'll get into Jake's bets, and then we're going to wrap it up with me just picking the games. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. To start, I wanted to talk about the Chiefs. Look, I do agree with a lot of the takes out there, and I did talk about this on the Sunday podcast that never was to be, but I do think it is on the board that they missed the playoffs. 5-5, you basically are asking this team to go, 6-1 over the last 7 games, and a lot of their games, they're playing the Colts this week. That's probably a tough out. I do think they'll probably win, but tough out nonetheless. They got to play the Broncos again, albeit in Arrowhead. The Chargers also in Arrowhead, but, they have lost to both of those teams. So, the Chiefs' schedule is by no means easy, and I think you can be optimistic that maybe they can do it. Like, if there's a team that we would probably give the benefit of the doubt to, it would be them. But, again, Colts, Chargers, Broncos, Texans. Texans might be a tough game. It is an Arrowhead, but nevertheless, you never know. And you're talking about a situation where they're really one game away from, they kind of have one game as a grace period, right? The Cowboys on Thanksgiving might be a tough out. You never know. They got the Titans and the Raiders outside of all those games, but I don't know if 10 wins is getting in. I don't know. And to be honest, they're competing for the wild card. We can be real about that. They're not winning this division. They are 4 games out of first place in their division with 7 to go. So unless the Chargers and the Broncos, and they can reasonably catch up to the Chargers, they're only a couple games behind them with 1 to play against them. But you would need a massive collapse from really 2 teams, and you would need the Chiefs to just run the table essentially for them to get in pole position to win the AFC West. It's not happening. It is out of the question, out of the picture. But can they make the wild card? Well, okay, who are they competing with against for the wild card? Right now it's the Bills, who they don't have the tiebreaker against because the Bills are losing to the Patriots in their division, so Bills. The Jaguars, who are going to probably lose their division to the Colts, they have also lost to the Jags. The one team that they have kind of that tiebreaker over is the Ravens. But to be honest, I think the Ravens very, very likely will end up winning their division. They could be in, I don't know what the tiebreakers are off the top of my head, but the Steelers are underdogs this week on the road against the Bears. The Ravens are playing the Jets. We're very, very likely we're going to get to the end of this week and both the Ravens and the Steelers are going to be 6-5. So, with 2 to play against each other, I am going to take the Ravens all day long versus the Steelers team that has a backup right now in Mason Rudolph. So, I think, you're not even going to get that one tiebreaker you have working in your favor to matter because the one tiebreaker you have, they're winning their division. It's not even in play for you there. So, I really am very skeptical of their odds at this point. It's such a loaded conference. And, there's only 3 wild card spots. And it's the Chargers, it's the Bills, the Steelers are still around, the Jaguars. The Texans are going to have a say. The Texans have a very hard schedule as well. They still have to play the Bills. I think they have to play the Ravens. They have to play the Chiefs. But Yeah, I am officially skeptical of it. And I know a lot of people are talking about, like, how does this affect the legacy of the dynasty? I don't think the dynasty's over by any means. Like, I'm not ready to kind of say that. I think that's a little premature. I think something people are really overlooking is the amount of games that the Chiefs have played in this 6-7 year run, really, because even the year before they started going to the Super Bowl, they were in the AFC Championship. So you're kind of looking at a situation where Patrick Mahomes now has 17 playoff wins. Well, just wins, not even the number of games played. I think he's played in 20 or 21 games. I think it's 20. And he has won 17 of them. He's second all time in playoff wins. That is a full season and some change of extra games that he has played in. And really a lot of that team, because a lot of that team has been around. Chris Jones and Travis Kelce have been there for all those games as well. They're obviously older and not quite the same. And at some point, it just catches up to you. At some point, it does. Not to say, again, they can't reset. Andy Reid and Mahomes, it's a historically good combination, but boy, oh boy, you see how hard it is to just do that year after. It happened to the 49ers, where the 49ers were more of an injury case, but after they go to the Super Bowl, which prior to that had been followed up by a bunch of other deep playoff runs where they were going to the conference championship at minimum, getting to the Super Bowl some years. And then at some point, it's like, I've played like half a season's worth of extra games or even more than that, and my body just can't take it anymore. And the fact that the Chiefs have not really even had those injury concerns in that way is kind of a miracle. But even without the injury, like, it does take a toll on you. Like, especially if you're older, you can't go as deep for as long. The mental toll that it takes, like, the Chiefs are in a weird circumstance now where they're 0-5 in one possession games and they're not winning them. And, I feel like almost to a degree, you're maybe even a little conditioned if you're the Chiefs to kind of not really take the regular season that seriously. Like it's hard to get up for an October game against the Titans. You know what I mean? Against the Bears, against even the Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Like, yeah, I'm going to go out there, but it's not the pressure that is on this team is of a higher caliber. It is of a playoff. We play in January and February. That's really when these games matter. That's when we give our undivided attention. And clearly, like, I don't want to say they've been lackadaisical because I'm not in the building, but like, it really is starting to feel like they are just not mentally prepared in a way to take on the focus that they need for these regular season games, because they've been able to coast through them for so long, and now they can't seem to turn on the switch. And they're also working against just trends in general. We're all human. Like, last year they were 11-0 in one possession games. This year they're 0-5. Like, that does regress. I didn't think it would be this bad. I knew it would be bad, but I was thinking, like, you can go like 7-4 in one possession games and be fine. 0-5 I did not have on my board, and that's really obviously been the difference in their season. But I mean, look, this team is still my playoff pick, and if they do get on a run at the end of the season, like, they're going to go into the playoffs, the most dangerous team of football. Like, you're going to get a Chiefs team that has found its rhythm, that has hit its stride, I guess, kind of the same thing there. But that momentum going into the playoffs, like, you already have the Chiefs kind of mystique, if you will, and now you're having to play them on a roll, probably annoyed because now they're having to go on the road. That's ultimately what's going to happen at this point, and that is just not a team you would want to play. So I think the rest of the league, the conference more specifically in the AFC, is looking at the Chiefs like, would love it if y'all did not make it to that big dance. Would love it if I didn't see you there, because they're down. They don't look as good. Some teams are getting them, but you can't tell me if the Bills get lined up against the Chiefs, even if the Bills have 12 wins and the Chiefs are limping in at 10-7. Like, you can't tell me that the Bills aren't going to be terrified. You can't tell me that the Ravens aren't going to be terrified. Like, every single team that's lining up, it's just like they find ways to win these games. That's what they've done. even when they're losing to the Bills in the regular season, when they're 1-5 against the Bills in the Allen Mahomes era, they're 4-0 in the postseason. So I don't know if they'll get to the play again. Like if they do, they're going to be a dangerous team, but that is a big if, and we'll have to see where it goes. And the other thing I did want to talk about with this, I know I've been talking about the Chiefs for a minute now, but last thing I wanted to say is at the beginning of the season, I made a point where I was like, if the Chiefs underachieve this year based on what we kind of expect of them, right? Like they don't go to the Super Bowl, they don't go to maybe they get bounced to the divisional or something, or the wild card even, which at the time seemed unfathomable, let alone the idea that they might not even play in the wild card. But I do think that the door opens officially to say there is a new best quarterback in the NFL. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes can't be under consideration, but the way I described it was, if the best quarterback in the NFL is like a room, and every quarterback in that room, you can make a legitimate argument for why they are the best quarterback, I think that door opens up at the end of the year. And I think, if Josh Allen goes and wins the Super Bowl, if Lamar Jackson goes and wins the Super Bowl, if Drake May, even, some people, if Drake May wins the MVP and wins the Super Bowl, or even Matt Stafford, like some people might be like, yeah, Matt Stafford, Drake May, Josh Allen, Lamar, they're all in that room with Mahomes now. Not saying you can't make the argument for Mahomes, but I'm saying it's not going to be, right now, I don't think there is an argument that you can make for any quarterback to be the best quarterback in the NFL other than Mahomes. Now, maybe you change your mind as the season goes on, but nevertheless, Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. He is the only one you can make an argument for. That could change. If they miss the playoffs or they get bounced early, especially by Josh Allen. Josh Allen beats him and then goes and wins the Super Bowl, And you know what? One more thing. Why not? This is kind of related to other teams, but something I don't think a lot of people are talking about is there is a little bit of a renewed sense of pressure to me on all of these other teams. Because if you're the Bills and you're looking at the Chiefs, or you're the Ravens and you're looking at the Chiefs, and you're not having the best regular season. Neither of those teams are in first place in a division that they should be first place in, at least going into the season. If you get a season where the Chiefs miss the playoffs and you can't capitalize on it with a Super Bowl, that's gutting. That's gutting. If we are sitting in January and the Chiefs are either out of the playoffs or knocked down in round one, and the Bills are fighting for their lives, or the Ravens are, and they can't get there, they lose to Drake May, one of them loses to the other, maybe Bo Nix and the Broncos upset them, right? You'd have to be sick. You'd have to be you're never going to get an opportunity like this again. Mahomes missing the playoffs in the prime of his career, it's not happening again for a long time. And if you can't take advantage of it, holy moly. So I did want to talk about the Broncos for a second as well. I can only do this because Christian isn't here. But, I have been a Broncos supporter for pretty much the whole year. They were my surprise team coming in. I was very high on their odds. I had them going to the AFC Championship and a potential Super Bowl sleeper. And here we are. Here we are at 9-2. With some quality. I know people like to downplay the quality of their wins. I mean, they've got wins over the Eagles. They've got wins over the Chiefs. They've got a blowout win against the Cowboys at home. They have taken care of business. And I know people want to be like, oh, they played a close game to the Jets, or they were in a dogfight with the Titans in week 1, or what. Guys, I do not care. I do not care. This team is one of the best teams in the NFL. And I can say that with my full chest because I had this team at 9-2 at this point in the season. I said this team would look exactly like this. They would be one of the best records in the NFL, tied for the best record, however you want to put it. And they have been that. They have been that basically the entire season. They've been on an 8-game win streak now. And the idea that this team can't go to the Super Bowl or something because Bo Nix isn't good enough, I think it's just silly. I think it's silly. I understand if we get to the divisional and it's Josh Allen and the Bills going into Denver, which Denver is in the driver's seat for the 1 seed. Will they get it? I don't know. The Patriots have a very easy schedule the rest of the way. If I had to bet money, I would bet it would be the Patriots to get the 1 seed, but the Broncos are right there. The Broncos are obviously in that driver's seat as well. And if they get the 1 seed or even the 2 seed, and they're getting, the 2 seed guarantees you 2 home playoff games, assuming you win them. Like, I don't want to go play them in Denver. That would be horrible. Even if you're playing as Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, one of the best teams in the conference, even the Patriots, like I wouldn't want to go play the Broncos in Denver. So I don't understand where this disrespect comes from, because Bo Nix doesn't look amazing. And look, I'm not going to lie. Like, obviously he does not look that good. He's been awesome in the fourth quarter, but I don't know what to tell you. This defense is on a historic pace. It looks, just watching it looks historically good, which we knew on this podcast. We talked about a lot coming into the season, and they're doing it right now without Patrick Surtain. So, there's even more upside for this defense when you think about it. This offensive line is amazing. Their running game is a little iffy. Their weapons have proven, I think, to be better than I think a lot of people expected them to be. And Bo Nix, look, I don't need Bo Nix to go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I just need Bo Nix to get it done when the time comes, and that up to this point, he has done that. He has been really good in the fourth quarter. He's been good in spots, and that is all this team needs. And again, I'm not holding that. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, we saw Bo Nix do this last year where he was really sketchy in the first half of the season, and as the season went on, he got more comfortable. He settled down. You're seeing them do some of that stuff with him, helping him get the play call out quicker so he can get to the line and have more time to kind of assess what the defense is doing. I think those little things, they're going to give him more confidence. They're going to let him kind of play a little more in a rhythm, which is what he excels at. And I wouldn't be surprised if you do see Bo Nix start to kind of click down the stretch. And if Bo Nix starts to click with this team, who's beating them? Like, I'm not saying they can't lose, but who are you saying guarantee this team will beat the Broncos? I don't think that exists. I think they can hang in there with anybody in this conference and anybody in the league. So, yeah, I really like the Broncos. I'm happy that, my sleeper team is really panning out. I staked a lot of my football reputation on the Broncos this year. A lot of people, this 10-7 team, this is a 7-10 team. No, this is a 13-win team, and that's exactly what they have looked like up to this point. This team is going to win 13 games, so I feel very good about it. I'm happy, and I'm happy that they're going to win the division, at least for now. Still got to finish off some games. Still got a game against the Chargers. Chargers are only a couple games behind, but I feel really good about their odds. So. Okay, I wanted to talk about the Cowboys. Didn't get a chance to talk about the Cowboys on the Sunday's podcast. It never was, because we recorded it before the Monday night game. Look, the Cowboys have let some real opportunities slip from their fingers, right? They tied with the Packers. They lost to the Panthers, right? I'm not even going to really count the Cardinals game, because, that's not like you could have won that game. Like, they got blown out in that game. Like, they were not competitive in that game, so we're not even going to count that. But, like, you look at the Panthers, you look at the Packers, that's 2 games that you're like, you probably should have won those games. And if you had won those games, this team would be a 6-4 team right now, in the thick of it for a wild card spot. Really in the thick of it for their division. Like, they're only at 6-4. You're only 2 games behind the Eagles, and you're about to play the Eagles this week. So, you would feel really good about where you're at. The division is lost, and this season is probably lost. It's very common for teams like the Cowboys, where you're not a bad team, but you're not like a good team. You're kind of like that bubble playoff team in purgatory. Your 8-9 win team. The Cowboys are that, but I'm going to say this. Here's the take. If the Cowboys beat the Eagles on Sunday, the season is back on. Jake, how can you say that? Okay. They have a tough last 7 games. Okay, I'm not going to lie. They have a very tough last 7 games. They have the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions. Okay. Probably 3 straight losses there, right? the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, the Giants. To me, those last 4 games are all winnable. I think the Vikings, Commanders, and Giants are winnable, and the Chargers have just been they've been charging. We know what the Chargers are. So like I think the Chargers. I will probably pick the Chargers when the time comes to beat the Cowboys. Now, like the Cowboys are rolling, and they've been really good up to that point for the next month. Like, feel different. Like it's in Dallas, but I say that if they beat the Eagles, the season is on because of this. Right now, you can't lose more than one game. They have one more game they can lose. Okay. Now, obviously, if we give them the last month of the season, which some might say generous, but bear with me here. That means you need to win 2 out of your 3 games against the Chiefs, Lions, and Eagles. Okay. If they beat the Eagles, they at that point only need to win 1 of their next 2 games and then just take care of business against the teams that they should probably take care of business. So if they beat the Eagles and they beat the Chiefs, or they lose to the Chiefs and beat the Lions and then take care of business the rest of the last month of the season, like that is a 10-6-1 team. Now, maybe you say, Jake, you're being way too optimistic. You're being silly. That's not going to happen. I'm just saying, you beat the Eagles. You only need to win 1 of those next 2 games. And if you can do that, you're on. Now, in reality, they are probably about to lose their next 3 games. They are probably about to lose to the Eagles. They're probably going to lose to the Chiefs, who are going to be very desperate. The Chiefs are not going to be dropping any games. And then, I mean, I don't think you have any chance of going into Detroit and beating the Lions. Like, I don't think you have any chance of doing that. So, maybe you beat the Chiefs. Cool. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's probably not happening. But I'm just saying, if they beat the Eagles, 5-5, season back on, you just got to win 5 of your next 6. And 4 of those are winnable for you. So, it's possible. All right. Wanted to talk about, you know what? I'll talk about the Patriots really quick. Look, I picked the Patriots as a surprise team. I didn't make it my sleeper team because I don't think anybody was sleeping on them. Like, I think everybody kind of knew what the Patriots, the smart football people, I'll say, for you haters out there, knew the Patriots were going to be probably a good team this year. I had them at 10-7. I had them being a wild card team. Now, obviously, they have overachieved that. Like, Broncos, I can take credit for what the Broncos are doing because I thought they would be this good. I thought they would be a 9-2 team. I didn't have the Patriots being 9-2 at this point. So I could take credit for saying the Patriots would be good. Can't take credit for saying they would be this good. Although, I did say Drake May might be a sleeper MVP pick. I did say that. I'm just saying. But I don't want to be a downer. I think we might need to pump the brakes on the Patriots a little bit. Jake, come on. What are you saying? Drake May is amazing. I love Drake May, and I love Mike Vrabel, and I will applaud everything they have done this year. But you know what I'm about to say. Their schedule has been a joke. They have played a joke of a schedule. I'll give them credit. They beat the Bills in Buffalo. Like, you got me, fam. You got me. I can't argue that. That was a phenomenal win. And I know it was 23-20. If you saw the game, you know it was not that close. They were dominating the Bills. Okay, I get that. And you just beat the Bucs. Like, I give you credit for beating the Bucs. Okay, and you're taking care of the teams you're supposed to. You blow out the Browns, beat the Jets on Thursday Night Football by a couple possessions, beat the Saints by a couple possessions, blow out the Panthers. Like, they are doing something very good teams do. Okay. You win games against tough competition and you blow out bad teams. And they have done that. So, like, I don't want to take anything away from what they've accomplished, but, like, they have had a very easy schedule this year. Okay. And when people look at the 49ers, who have the easiest schedule, nobody mistakes the 49ers' easy schedule for the 49ers being a very good team. We all look at the Niners and say, that is a broken team, a depleted team, but they're winning games because they have an easy schedule. But for the Patriots, which, yes, they are better than the Niners, and yes, they have looked way better than the Niners. I'm not taking that away from them, but, like, I feel like we have to be a little more honest about how we're weighing their schedule here. I mean, again, like, here are the teams they have played. The Raiders, the Dolphins. They played the Steelers early when the Steelers were pretty good, and they lost. They played the Panthers, the Bills, as I mentioned, the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, the Falcons, the Jets, and the Bucks, who Bucks are on a little bit of a skid, but hey, okay, not taking anything away from you. They have the Bengals, the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins, and then they have 2 tough games, Bills, Ravens. Now, good news is by the time we get to the playoffs, I think we're going to know what the Patriots are, because I think those 2 games against the Ravens and the Bills are going to this is put up or shut up. You're playing the Bills are playing like it's the playoffs at that point, and the Ravens will probably be playing like it's the playoffs, because everybody's going to be these are 2 teams that need wins where they can get them, and they're needing to compete for these wild card spots. Maybe even the Bills are trying to compete for the division at that point if the Patriots can't take care of business. So you're going to get the most out of those teams. I feel like we're going to go to the playoffs and know where the Patriots stand in the pecking order. If they can beat the Bills again, sweep them, and they beat the Ravens, I'll say this team's a Super Bowl team. This team can go to the Super Bowl. I'll say that. But for now, let's chill. Let's acknowledge that what they've done is impressive, but also keep it real that they have had an easy schedule, and we have to see how they do. So with that, I'm not really rooting for you, New England. Like, I'm rooting for you, but I'm not, because, like, I was around for the whole Brady Belichick era. Y'all are just spoiled. Like, kudos to you. Not nobody's fault that you're spoiled. Your organization is a good organization. It's well run. It, heals itself up and goes and corrects itself. Hires a coach that's not ready, moves off that coach, goes and gets a real coach. Like, kudos to you, but you're a little spoiled. And I'm definitely not going to be sad if you get bounced in the playoffs, though I do love Drake May. And I have a lot of respect for Mike Vrabel. Been a Mike Vrabel supporter. This pod has been one of the most Mike Vrabel-y pods out there. So, just saying, not saying, but just saying. All right. Last thing before we get into our kind of fun half, if you will, I wanted to talk about kind of the NFC and kind of the state of the NFC, because holy moly, the NFC is crazy. Both conferences are kind of on fire right now. I mean, we have a situation. It's very much on the board. I don't think it'll happen in the North. I think the Ravens will end up winning that. But, like, the South, the East, and the West all could very well have different division winners this upcoming at the end of the season, which is crazy. In the NFC, a lot of really good teams in the NFC. Like, oh my God. I mean, you go through the list, the Rams, the Seahawks are both elite. 49ers are a bubble team. The Eagles are obviously elite. The Cowboys hanging on, not really there, but kind of there if you squint your eyes a little bit. The Bucks, the Panthers have been very good this year. Obviously, we have the Packers, Lions, Bears in that NFC North. I think the Vikings are better than their record indicates. I just think they're kind of stuck with poor quarterback play and J.J. McCarthy right now, but, like, I think that's also a quality team. So I kind of wanted to talk about who I think the best team is right now. As far as biggest upside goes, I think I have to give it to the Rams. I think I have to. Matt Stafford is playing like a man possessed. He is on track to win the MVP if he continues doing what he's doing. He hasn't thrown an interception since week 3. That's crazy. That's just nuts. That I don't even know what to do with that stat. What has he thrown, like 20 touchdowns or something? 23 touchdowns. I don't even know what the stat is anymore. They just had a good win against the Seahawks, but I love their defense has. I'll eat crow. Like, I was skeptical of their defense coming into the year. Their defense is awesome. Their defense is an elite defense. It is the elite defense everybody thought it would be. I needed to kind of see it to believe it. I am seeing it. But I just look at the Rams and, like, yeah, the Eagles are still there. And I still, if you're putting a gun up to my head or you're making me bet, like, who is going to win between the Eagles and the Rams, I would probably lean the Eagles just because the Eagles just know how to take care of it. They just know how to get it done. But as far as, like, upside, as far as, like, how things are trending, it would not surprise me if we get to the end of the year, the Rams are among the hottest teams in the league, firing on offense as one of the best, if not the best offenses in the league, firing as a top 5 defense. If we go into the playoffs and that's the Rams we're seeing, I don't think anybody in the NFC is beating them. I don't. Now, we got a long way to go. We still got 2 months left of regular season football, so let's, not get too excited. But as far as right now, I still would probably give it to the Eagles. I know people people want to talk about with the Eagles, oh, their offense is bad. And yeah, like it hasn't looked great, but like I think people are really undervaluing what the Eagles have done this year. I mean, and the teams they have beat. They just came off of beating the Packers in Lambeau, a team that, by the way, the Packers haven't lost back-to-back games at Lambeau in forever. And they go in, Packers coming off a bad loss against the Panthers. The Packers are like reeling, ready to go. And the Eagles beat them. Held that offense to 7 points. And then on a short week, they get Detroit in Philadelphia, and they stump them. 16-9. Jared Goff can't do anything. That pressure is hellacious. That Jaden Phillips edition just looks incredible week after week. He's got the most pressures in the past 2 weeks next to Micah Parsons, and they gave up a third-rounder for him. I mean, that's insane. That's crazy. I mean, you talk about that's just Howie Roseman doing Howie Roseman things, but Packers Lions the past 2 weeks. They've played the Broncos. They did lose to the Broncos, but still, they beat the Bucs when the Bucs were rolling. They beat the Rams. They came back and beat the Rams, mind you. They beat the Chiefs. They played a scrappy Cowboys team in week 1. Like, they thumped the Giants. They did lose to the Giants, but hey, nobody's perfect. That they were kind of hitting that slump in the middle of the year. But like now we're coming out of it, and it's like, oh well, their offense isn't good. It's like, yeah, they can't really run the ball well, and I think Kevin Petula. I think he's just gonna have to go. Like, I don't know. I don't see how you bring back Kevin Petullo after how disappointing of a season this has been offensively. Offensively, it is a little reminiscent of what it was back in the 23 season, but I don't think this team is like the 2023 Eagles. I know some trends. Well, you're playing a lot of hard games, and you're winning by possession, and you had a random loss to a New York team in the middle of the season. And if that's the case, we are about 2 weeks away from like the collapse, basically. If this is going to be like that season, I don't think that's coming. I don't think it's coming. And the reason I don't is because, I don't think this offense is bad. I just think it's inconsistent. But, I mean, they've put up 38 points, 28 points, 31 points, 33 points. Like, they have put up points when they have needed to put them up. They just don't do it as consistently as you would like. As I said, they don't run the ball particularly well. Saquon is having a very down year. Some of that could be play calling. Some of that could be not calling the right plays or being too basic in what you're calling or even in your formations that you're running out of. Like, so some of that could be being an offensive coordinator, being a play caller, but they're not doing it well. But the reason I think ultimately this team is not like it was 2 years ago is again, situationally they get it done when they need to, but B, their defense is so good. I mean, their defense, Fangs is just picking up where he left off last year. They went and got Jaden Phillips, and Jaden Phillips has been an animal for them in these 2 weeks. And I don't expect – I think that pass rush is a serious threat again, like it kind of was last year. It's back to being that way. And I love so many pieces on this. I mean, I was a huge fan of Jahad Campbell. I think he's really coming along. Obviously, Zach Bond is still a beast. I love a lot of their pieces in their secondary. I know they're a little thin still at that corner spot, but like I don't, they traded for Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander stepping away, so like they kind of lost out on that, but they're still like defensively, they are so good. I mean, 9 points to the Lions, 7 points to the Packers. Broncos offense is okay, but 22 points to the Vikings. I know the Bucs ended up putting up 25 points and making it interesting, but like they held them to 6 points in that first half, and they intercepted Baker Mayfield on what would have probably been a tying touchdown. So, their defense is playing well situationally. They're fierce. They don't give up a lot of points. I just look at this Eagles team, and I really do still like a lot of the pieces. And I think, this back half, like they're playing the Cowboys, division game could kind of go either way. They got the Chargers still, which I would lean the Eagles. I think the Eagles are just in a different class. And then they got in Buffalo, which is a very interesting game. Definitely one I'm going to have circled. But, I mean, that's as hard as it gets. Like, that Bills game is as hard as it gets. Every other game, Cowboys, Chargers even. You have the Bears, which is winnable. I mean, Bears, like, come on. Like, we like the Bears. Bears are good. But, like, the Bears and the Eagles, there's a level there. They got the Raiders and the Commanders twice. I mean, I think there's a very good chance this team still ends up the 1 seed. And they might lose 2 more games along the way. Like, that's going to be a 13-4 season. Are the Rams going to get to 13-4? I mean, the Rams schedule, they still got to play the Seahawks again. They're playing the Bucks this weekend. They got to play the Lions. They have the Panthers in Carolina. Like, you should win that, but we've seen the Panthers be feisty in Carolina. Like, the Falcons should be a winnable game. The Cardinals twice. Like, so they got some winnable games, but like, if they go 13-4 and the Eagles go 13-4, the Eagles are going to be the 1 seed. It's that simple. So I really like the position the Eagles are in. If people are having to go back through Philadelphia to get to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't want any part of that. I picked them to be the NFC representative. And the last thing I'll say, kind of very similar to what I talked about with the Chiefs, where, again, the Eagles, there's just an elevated expectation for them. Like, this is a team that has been to the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years. They have been to the playoffs in 4 straight years now. And you're just at a point now where you're like, I mean, we got to win these regular season games, but like, it's kind of hard for me to get up for a November game against the Bears. Like, I don't, like, that's just, there's not an expectation there versus being like, no, we are a perennial Super Bowl contender now. That is what we are. That is what our front office has been. That is how we are built. That is what our quarterback's expectations are. Like, we are a perennial Super Bowl team. That makes these games in the regular season a little harder to kind of get through, I think. So, as long as they're winning, as long as they're playing situationally well, as long as they find some semblance of rhythm offensively, and if they get the 1 seed, I mean, good luck. Good luck NFC beating them. So, and then the last team I wanted to highlight, obviously, I won't spend too long on it, but the Seahawks. Man, I love that team. That team is so good. I mean, the fact that they gave such a fight to the Rams despite their quarterback throwing 4 interceptions, it speaks to how good they are. I think if you're Seattle, you just got to hope you don't play the Rams because Sam Darnold clearly has something wrong with him when he plays that team. So, love Seattle, though. That defense, I think it's easily a top 3 defense. I mean, it's the Broncos, Texans, and Seahawks. Kind of pick your poison. That offense is very explosive. Definitely, to me, an NFC champion type contender. Would not surprise me if they end up there. With the Eagles and the Rams kind of at the top, it's kind of a bummer that like one of those 3 teams is going to end up getting left off because I do think all 3 of those teams are quality enough to come out of the NFC. But one of them is going to be left off, and if I had to put money on it, I would probably put it on the Seahawks. So, all right. Well, anyway, as I said, Christian is not here, so I was going to do a top 10. I was going to do a top 10 instead of the Vibe ranking. So here's my top 10. This is the correct top 10, just so you know. If you want to yell at me, though, feel free to do that. But here's the top 10. Number 10, I have the Colts. Oh, but Jake, how can you say it's the best offense in the league? I don't care. Like, I think they're a good team. I think they're a very good team. I love Shane Steichen. Daniel Jones has had 10 interceptions and or fumbles in the past 2 weeks. And now he's got to go into Arrowhead, and everybody's just like, watch out for the Colts. Like, no. Look, watch out for the Broncos. Yes, in Denver. That's a well-coached team. They've taken it to them. And I understand the Colts have given Patrick Mahomes fits in the past. The Lou Anarumo factor is huge, in my opinion. It's huge, but like I would probably bet money that if you're betting the money line, right? The spread's a little different because the spread's a little crazy for this game. But on the money line, I think the Chiefs find a way to get it done. So I would bet the Chiefs there. Yeah, I like the Colts at 10. Like really, really good team. Are they better than the Patriots? Are they better than the Bills? Are they better than the Broncos? Will they beat the Broncos? I don't care. Are they better than the Chiefs? Like no, I think they're still below those teams. Good team, but I mean, if they win a playoff game, I think Indianapolis should set the town on fire with how amazing that is. Like that would be a quite the accomplishment given what your kind of expectations were this year. But something to build off of. Nothing bad, but I mean, are you a top 4 AFC team at this point? I don't know. You're on the fence, and you're definitely not a top 2 team in terms of the AFC Championship. Number 9, I have the Lions. They're good. They're really good. Maybe some days. They beat the crap out of bad teams. They're going to play the Giants this week. They're going to blow them out. Like, I know that's going to happen, but like, Play the Eagles, you lose. Play the Chiefs, you lose. Lose to the Vikings randomly. Like, they're just, in a dome at home, I wouldn't want to play them, but they're not going to be the 1 seed. They might win the division and they might have a home playoff game. I wouldn't want to play them. I think they can win that game. But, like, the second they got to go outdoors and play the Eagles or something, like, or they got to go to Seattle and play Seattle, like, I'm going to bet the line against the Lions on the road in the playoffs. So I just, Lions are fine. They're good. Their defense is fine. Their offensive line has been inconsistent this year. They have not been able to run the ball well against very stout defenses. And Jared Goff is fine. I mean, we know what Jared Goff is. So, this team lost some talent this offseason. They lost both their coordinators. They're fine. Not great, but they're fine. Number 9. Number 8, I have the Ravens. Yeah, they're heating up. But, Jake, they lost to the Lions. I don't care. Like, this team is clearly different than it was even a month and a half ago. This defense is really getting good. They're winning. We knew Cleveland would be a tough game for them on the road. We had the Browns as one of our best bets for a reason. They still won. They still got it taken care of. They won an ugly, sloppy game against a trap game in Cleveland that is hard to win. They took care of business, and they continue to do that. They're 5-5 now. They're hitting their stride. They're going to continue to do that. And now the pressure, I think there's a little bit of pressure, right, when you're like 1-5, 2-5. I feel like as time's gone on, that pressure is going to kind of lift. Especially, their next 4 games are the Jets, Bengals, hosting the Steelers, and the Bengals. That's a 9-5 team. That's a 9-5 team by mid-December. And then they go into a tough stretch where they have to play the Patriots and Packers. We'll see how that goes. I still would like their odds in both those games. But, like, this team is not finishing any worse than 11-6, in my opinion. Maybe 10-7. I'll say 10-7. I'll amend. I'll say they're not finishing any worse than 10-7. I think they're going to win their division, even at 10-7. 11-6, definitely. I don't think the Steelers are winning 11 games. So I have the Ravens at 8, heating up. I expect them to climb this list as the weeks go on. Number 7, I have the Chiefs. Tough. If the Colts beat the Chiefs, then we're going to have to talk about the Chiefs, like, even being on this list next week. But for now, I still think, they've blown out the Ravens, blown out the Lions this year. I know the Ravens, again, it was like, that was a different Ravens team. Maybe, but I'm going to still defer Patrick Mahomes over Lamar Jackson in those kinds of games. Like, it just has historically been that. So I like the Chiefs at 7, but on thin ice. Another team that's kind of on thin ice, the Bills. I love when Josh Allen throws and runs for 6 total touchdowns, but, like, what about that blowout against the Dolphins? What about that blowout against the Falcons? What about losing to the Patriots? Like, what am I going to get from this team week to week? I don't like this defense. I just, their weapons are kind of iffy. Dalton Kincaid been injured. Like, I just, they're good. They're good, and I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs because Josh Allen's amazing. But, like, they're fine. They're fine. Number 6. Number 5, we're getting to the top 5. Patriots. The Pats. Yeah, I like the Patriots a lot. Like, I think they don't really have a weakness in their team. They don't have a huge, outside of, I guess, quarterback, they don't really have a strength necessarily. Like, they're good at running the ball. They have good weapons. They have a good defense. They have some great defensive talent. Like, Gonzo is obviously fantastic. He's one of the best in the game. But, like, this is where I kind of, like, hesitate on this roster. Like, obviously, a good roster with a great quarterback and great coach. Yeah, you're a Super Bowl contender usually with that. But I still would like to see this roster go through some upgrades in the offseason. I think they're primed to do that. I don't think it's going to be like the Texans and the Commanders where, like, they had a quarterback who overachieved his rookie year and they thought they were closer than they actually were. I think this team is genuinely close. Like, this team has a feel to me more of like the Lions, where, like, once the Lions started winning those games, they never stopped winning them. That was just their floor now because they had the prerequisite talent to maintain that floor. I think that's the Patriots as well. I think that's the Texans and the Commanders didn't have that. The Patriots do have that. And I think you're going to see, like, the Bears, I don't know what the Bears are going to be next year. I think the Patriots are going to be a Super Bowl contender next year. because their roster is just a lot more stable. So I like the Patriots at 5, and I mean 9-2. Like, holy moly, they could be the one. They probably will be the 1 seed. Number 4, I don't care, bro. I got the Broncos. I got the Broncos. How can I not have the Broncos? They have quality wins. They have the best defense in the league. They have a stellar home field advantage, and they have a great coach. Bo Nix is a question. Yeah, well, Bo Nix has gotten it done. He's played well enough to get it done, and I think he's going to get better as the season goes on. I love the Broncos at 4, and I expect them to actually rise as the season goes on. I don't think this is as high as they're going to go this year. Number 3, I have the Seahawks. Very tough between putting the Seahawks and the Broncos, kind of which one's better. I think the Seahawks offense is better than the Broncos offense. And I don't think their defense is so much better than the Seahawks defense that like it negates or outweighs that. The Seahawks all around are a phenomenal team. Like, I just love everything about them. I think they are a complete team. Their biggest question mark, obviously, is Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold, outside of playing the Rams, has been very, very good this year. So I really do like what the Seahawks bring to the table. And I think they are deserving to be the 3rd best team because of all the teams in the league, there's not many teams that have a better offense and defense combination than they do. So Seahawks at 3. The one team that might have a better offense-defense combination than them, though, is the Rams. I don't think the Rams' defense is as good as theirs, but the Rams' offense, in my opinion, is probably the best in the NFL. Obviously, I've already talked about it, but just how complete they are, how great they are at pressure, at even pass defense. I mean, and they're constantly having the lead, and yet teams are still like struggling to pass it against them. Like, I really think that helps. Obviously, again, I heard somebody say they didn't think that Rams were like dynamic. They're just smart. I think they're smart and dynamic. And I think that's what makes them so deadly is like they have some massive playmakers everywhere. I mean, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. I love both their tight ends. Kyron Williams is a bit of a home run hitter. And obviously Matt Stafford's got still the cannon arm. I mean, he's not what he once was maybe athletically, but he still is fantastic. And on top of that, yeah, they don't make penalties. They don't make silly mistakes that put themselves behind the chains. Like, they are efficient, smart, clean, and explosive. And they can beat you in a lot of ways. So I love everything about the Rams offense, and their defense has obviously exceeded my expectations. But right now, number 1, I got to have the Eagles. Come on now. Come on. Eagles, still, until proven otherwise, I think the Eagles are the best team in the league. If the playoffs were starting right now and it's like, who do you think is going to go all the way? It's just like, how do you not pick the Eagles? Like, I've just seen the Eagles do it time and time again. I saw a Rams team that was still very good back even earlier in the season. They were going to play an Eagles team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year and embarrassed them in the regular season last year. And they still couldn't beat them. They couldn't finish the job. They jumped up on a lead and then they couldn't finish the job. So who do I trust more? I trust the Eagles. Maybe that's going to change. I said that, the Rams, I think, have the highest upside. But as far as, like, actually getting to that point, we got to see. We got to see if it's actually realized. Until then, Eagles at 1. So that is my list. Tear it apart. Let me know what you think. That was a lot of fun, though. So next week we should be back with the Vibe rankings. You know what? Actually, we got to figure that out because next week is Thanksgiving. So I don't know what that's going to look like. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Okay. Let's get into a couple last segments here. I'm going to give Jake's picks, and then we're going to go into just pick them real quick for week 12. So, bets last week. Well, I was really hoping Christian was going to be here because I could tell him this. We went 5-0. We went 5-0 last week. It is our first 5-0 season, 5-0 week this season. We are now, what's the record? Let me make sure I get it right here. We're now 32-23. On the season. 32-23. It's 58%. We have had winning weeks in 7 of the 8 previous weeks now. We are 27-13 in that time. 27-13. That is above 60% in the last 8 weeks. We are just crushing it. 5-0 this week. Recap them. Panthers plus 3.5 all day. Seahawks plus 3.5. Barely, but they covered. Browns plus 7.5 all day. Never were not covering in that. Bills minus 5.5. Close, but it worked. And Eagles minus 2.5 all day. Back-to-back Eagles as short favorites. I mean, they weren't even a favorite against Packers. They were a dog for some reason. It's just, come on. You're going to give me the Eagles in a crunch time game? less than a field goal or even giving me points, that's free money. That's free money. Just don't overthink it. That's free money. Okay. Let's get into this week's games. Now, I'm going to contradict myself on some of what I just said. But some of it is just, you just kind of playing the number. You kind of just being smart with it. Man, some of this is tough. I'll give you the 4 that I like, and then I'll figure out the 5th one at the last second because I'm thinking about switching one of them out. So here we go. First one, Lions minus 10.5 against the Giants. I know it's a big favorite. I know people don't want to hear that. There go, Jake. I don't want to bet that. Look, all of the trends say you got to bet the Lions. Lions coming off a loss. Lions coming back home. Lions playing a team that is kind of giving up. Lions, the data that show, like, they cover in this spot like a machine. I wish I wrote down the numbers. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but they're undefeated in certain trends that you look at in this kind of spot. I mean, they just do not lose. And when they do cover in the larger, more broad trends, I mean, it's still something ridiculous, like 70+%. Like, this is the kind of game that the Lions come home and they just utterly destroy the team they're playing, in this case, the Giants. So I like the Lions here. I think they're going to beat up on the Giants. I think it could be a quick blowout where they get up very quickly, 21-6 at half, and you're not even really thinking about this game the rest of the way. Final score, something like 34-13. Just nothing to sniff at. I like the Lions here against the Giants. All right here. I like the Cardinals +3 against the Jaguars. I just don't. I don't think the Jaguars are that much better than the Cardinals. I know their record is better. I know the Cardinals have been blown out back-to-back weeks. I just don't. The Jaguars are coming off a blowout win. The Cardinals are coming off a blowout loss. They're getting 3 points at home against a team I don't think is that much better than them. Like, just playing the number here. I mean, the situation dictates that, like, you should bet the Cardinals here. I think the Cardinals match up fine with them. Not amazing, but, like, I don't see the Jaguars going on the road back-to-back weeks and rolling a team that's coming off a blowout. Like, I think the Cardinals kind of get right here. I don't know if they win, but I don't think they lose by more than a field goal. So I like the Cardinals here in the spot, +3. All right. I hate to say I don't believe in this one and tell you I'm going to give it to you anyway. I don't know if I believe it, but the Cowboys +3 against the Eagles is the move. It's the move. Like, the Cowboys always play the Eagles tough. These teams know each other. The Cowboys have some real momentum maybe after their win against the Raiders. We'll see how that defense fares. That defense, I think, is going to be much improved because of all the pieces they've just gotten back. Quinnen Williams is now there. They got Logan Wilson. DeMarvion Overshown is back. Siobhan Ravel is in there. Like, Malik Hooker is back. Like, they have a lot of pieces back, and I think that's going to bode well for them defensively. And offensively, I think they are a bit of a juggernaut. And I think Dak will manage the pressure well. He has against this team. And it's at home. Like, I'm betting the Cowboys at home. I wanted to bet the Eagles, but, like, I almost, like, as a rule, just do not bet road division favorites. I just think that's a silly, like, you're just going to lose that most of the time. So this is the spot where you're going to win most of the time. The pros are heavily coming in on the Cowboys. I think I'll play the number. I don't know if I believe it, but, like, this is a long-term winner. Like, that's why we're playing it. We might not win it this week, but if you bet this kind of game 10 times, you cover 6 to 7, which is enough. So, yeah, Cowboys +3. Okay. I'm going to switch out one of them. I'm going to put in the Colts +3.5 against the Chiefs. At 3, I don't like it. At 3, I don't like it, but at 3.5, I will take it. Lou Anarumo is real. Like, I just hit the mic. Sorry. Lou Anarumo is real. Like, he is a problem for this team. He has been a problem when he was in Cincinnati, and he's got real pieces now playing for him. And I just, can the Colts keep it close? I think so. I don't trust the Chiefs to stop the run consistently. Jonathan Taylor is there. They're coming off a bye week. And, like, the idea that, like, well, the Chiefs' backs against the wall, they need that. I thought that last week, dude. They're coming off a bye last week, playing a division rival in a game they needed, and they didn't do it. So at some point, that whole just, well, they find a way. No, it doesn't always work that way. So yeah, I like. Again, I don't know if they'll win, but this is a team Patrick Mahomes has historically struggled against, even when they've been bad. They have somebody that has given him trouble with Lou Anarumo now calling that defense, so I expect that to be a factor. And Daniel Jones is obviously a concern for me, but I don't know if the Chiefs have the prerequisite defense needed to really give Daniel Jones problems. Yeah, Daniel Jones might fumble the ball 3 times in this game. Yeah, he might throw 2 interceptions, but can the Chiefs defense actually make him do that? I don't know. I think a week off is going to really help this Colts. It's just, again, long-term winner. If you bet a team in this spot, you're going to win it most of the time. This is one of the best bets of the week. You got to take the Colts plus 3.5. You just have to. And then my last one, another big favorite. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. Seahawks minus 13.5 against the Titans. Coming off a loss that they feel like they should have won. They played really well. Now they're getting a Titans team. I know, Titans at home, and you're betting them to lose by more than 2 touchdowns? Yeah, it's not a smart bet. You kind of fudging the rules here and there, but I think the Seahawks are going to kick their ass. Come on. It's going to be a blowout. So give me the Seahawks minus 13.5. Those are the 5 bets. To recap, I like the Colts plus 3.5. I like the Lions minus 10.5. I like the Cardinals plus 3. I like the Seahawks minus 13.5. And I like the Cowboys plus 3. Feels like 2 and 3. I hope not, but feels like 2 and 3. Okay. Last segment, y'all. Then we can get on out of here. I'll let y'all get back to your day. We got to pick the games. We start off Thursday Night Football, Bills-Texans. I think the rumor is Davis Mills is going to play. I'm not betting, even at home. I know the Texans are at home. Give me the Bills. I'm not going to bet it. I wouldn't tell you to bet it, but Bills beat the Texans on Thursday night. Okay. We got the Ravens-Jets. Clear through some of these. Ravens, not going to spend a lot of time. Bears hosting the Steelers. I don't have faith in Mason Rudolph. As a betting proposition, you maybe should take him because you're getting, it's just that what's that data point that says you should start or bet on quarterbacks making their first start of the season? Mason Rudolph making his first start of the season typically works out well. I don't care. I'm not betting the Steelers as road dogs against a Bears team that finds ways to win. I'm staying away from it, but I will pick the Bears to take care of business. All right, Patriots Bengals, going Patriots. Lions Giants, obviously going Lions. Packers are playing the Vikings. I am going Packers. Chiefs Colts, I will pick the Chiefs to win, but I think the Colts will keep it close. I think they'll make it interesting. Seahawks Titans, going Seahawks. Cardinals Jags, going with the upset, going the Cardinals. Browns Raiders, I'm going Raiders at home. I think these are 2 bad teams. Shedeur Sanders, didn't really talk about him. Talk about him real quick. There's a reason you didn't see Shedeur Sanders before last week, because Shedeur Sanders is not ready to play in the NFL. And I think that's going to be shown. Again, I know the trend is you should bet him technically because he says making his first start. I don't care. I'm not doing that. This is a team that he should be able to move the ball against if he is an NFL level quarterback. And we saw some sparks from him. But I think there's a reason they weren't playing him, because I don't think he is ready to play at the NFL level. And I think the Raiders are going to take advantage of that. So Raiders. We got the Eagles-Cowboys in a great matchup. Always fun with the Eagles-Cowboys play. I will go Cowboys for the upset. Ooh, have no faith. But I'm picking it. We're going Cowboys for the upset. All right. Falcons-Saints. Falcons, oddly enough, they are underdogs in this game. Traveling to New Orleans. Kirk Cousins making the start. I'm going to go Falcons. I think they are the better team. I know the Saints are at home. The Saints had their time in the sun for a little bit, and then it waned, and now they're just, they're not that good. So I'm going the Falcons here to beat a team that they should beat, even on the road, and even with Kirk Cousins. And then our Sunday night, we got the Rams and the Bucks. Going Rams. I wanted to maybe bet the Bucks here as one of my best bets, but I don't have faith in it, so I'm going Rams for the win, staying away from it betting. And then we get the Monday night game, Panthers 49ers. Very interesting game. Going to get to see if the Panthers can actually build on the success that they've had. That we've seen a couple times already. They haven't really been able to. You look at them coming off of big wins this year, and it has not been pretty. Just to give you a couple of examples, because there's more than one. After they beat the Falcons 30-0, they went on and got blown out by the Patriots the next week. That's not good. After they edged out the Dolphins and the Cowboys in back-to-back weeks, and the Jets, they got thumped by the Bills 40-9 at home. And then after the next week, they went and beat the Packers. They lost at home to the Saints 17-7. So they're coming off a good overtime win against the Falcons. Can they take care of business on Monday night against the Niners on the road in a game they need? I don't think so. I think I'm going to go Niners here. I don't think the Panthers will get the upset. So I think they come back down to earth. But I'm rooting for you, Carolina. If you win, I'll come eat crow. So that's all I got, y'all. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you rocking with us. Christian hopefully will be back in the coming days. We'll figure out our Thanksgiving schedule. I don't quite know what's happening with that, but we'll let you know if I'm maybe recording remotely. Maybe that's the move. I don't know. But until next time, take it easy. Take it sleazy. We love you. We cherish you. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Give us a share. Give us a rating. Give us a comment. Tell people about us to your friends, wherever. I don't know who you hang out with, but tell them about us. Until next time, take it easy.